G'day, I'm Tommy from Bushman Fridges. Today I'm going to show you how to move the hinges from the right hand side to the left hand side on a Bushman DC-X series upright fridge. The tools you'll need for this job are a heat gun, a 2.5mm and 3mm drill bit and a power drill, some masking tape, a Phillips head screwdriver or a Phillips head power drill, and a very small flat screwdriver. First thing we need to do is remove the sticker on the door handle. Don't worry if you damage the sticker when you take it off, because there's a spare one supplied in your little owner's manual kit in the fridge. So to get him off, we just get underneath it there, peel him off, and there we go. You'll find 2 Phillips head screws underneath the door handle. So the second step is we need to unscrew those. Once you've got those unscrewed, just get your little flathead screwdriver and just pop those screws out of there. Once you've got the screws out, you can slide the handle across. You want to move it so that it's roughly in the same position as it was on the other side. That's pretty close. Next thing you want to grab is a 2.5mm drill bit on your power drill, and I'll show you how to run those holes in. Once you've got your 2.5mm drill bit, when you drill these holes, there's like a 2-stage process. So the first step, you'll go through the door skin, which is like a composite material. Behind the door skin is a piece of sheet metal. So you need to go through the door skin, you'll feel the sheet metal, then you need to go through the sheet metal. Sheet metal is only very thin, so you only want to just get through that. What you don't want to do is go too far and go, like an inch into the fridge and through the liner on the inside. So you probably want to drill about 10 mils into the front of the fridge. We've drilled the 2 holes out for the door handle. Next thing we do is grab a bit of masking tape, and we want to make sure when we put the screws in that we're screwing them the whole way in. That way we'll know they've gone through the door panel and that bit of sheet metal. To do that, I normally just put my Phillips head screwdriver in, put a little bit of tape here on the end so that I can see when I put the screws in that I've run the screwdriver all the way in. So I grab that spare sticker, which will be in your owner's manual pack, and you just want to position this nice and square on that spot there. Give it a gentle push. So the door handle's on, the sticker's on the door handle. The last cosmetic thing we need to do is cover these 2 little holes. So the first thing for that is grab a 3mm drill bit, and we need to drill these holes out because the original holes are not quite thick enough. Again, make sure that you go through the door skin and the bit of sheet metal behind. Inside your owner's manual bag, you'll also have a couple of little push pins. So these are 2-piece. What you want to do is take them apart, get the little sleeve, the inside piece, and insert that into the hole. That's it for the cosmetic stuff. Now we're going to remove the top door catch, the top hinge. We'll lift the door off, and then we'll take the bottom hinge off as well. The top door catch lifts off, and then we can take off the top door hinge. You also need to be careful. There's a little black washer which sits on top of that hinge pin, which we need to keep a hold of. The fridge door will then gently lift off, tilt it forward, and off it goes. Put that to the side. You also want to check that there's probably a little black washer on this bottom hinge pin, and sometimes it can actually stick to the bottom of the door. So just check there wasn't a little black washer stuck on the bottom of the door when you lift the door off. Once you've got the fridge door off, you need to remove the lower hinge on the right hand side and also this lower door support on the left hand side. There's 4 Phillips head screws under each side. I'll just buzz them off with a hand drill. Now we've got the lower hinge off, we can move that from the right hand side to the left hand side, and the bottom door support we can move the other way from the left hand side to the right hand side with the same 4 Phillips head screws that we just took out. Next step is to put the fridge door back on. So we grab that little black washer from earlier, put him on the bottom hinge pin, then the door will sit on that pin, and you just sit gently in place like that. You can then get the top hinge, which also has a little black washer on it. Drop him in. Just have a look at the top and make sure that the hinge there is aligned with those holes. And we can grab our power drill, run those 4 screws back in at the top. Next step is we check the alignment of the fridge door. So the top and bottom hinges are done up finger tight, so there's a bit of movement in them. So we twist the door until we have it nice and square with the fridge cabinet. So you've got a similar gap on both sides and the door's nice and straight. And also the gap at the front here on the top is also the same, because you can slide the door in and out a little bit from the fridge. Once that looks good, tighten your hinges up a little bit more and just do a final check that the door opens and closes freely without rubbing, especially in the last couple of inches. You don't want the door rubbing on the bottom door support. You want it to sit just a mil or two above that. The doors align nice and square. The next step is to reset the door seals with a heat gun. So we do this by applying gentle heat to the door seals all the way around. To do this, I normally just start on one side about halfway down with the door closed, and then you just gently heat the rubber seals up. Don't get too close or have your gun on too hot, because you run the risk of actually melting the seals. The seals are molded into the doors, then you'd need a new door. So if in doubt, just be very cautious and careful with it. So you're gently heating the rubber up. As the rubber gets warm, it gets malleable, and there's magnets inside there. So the rubber seal will sort of suck onto the fridge cabinet, and if there's any big gaps, you'll see it move. One trick that we do is we actually put a torch inside the fridge. That way, when you've got the door closed, if there's a little slither of light anywhere, you'll be able to see it, and then you'll be able to make sure that you get that section. So you go all the way around the door, both sides, the bottom and the top. Once that's done, leave the door closed for about 10 minutes so that the rubber seals cool in that position, and you'll have perfect seal. You'll know, because when you go to open the door, it'll have quite a bit of resistance. Final step is reaffixing the top door catch. This bit's nice and simple. It just sits on the top here. What you want to do is slide it towards the back of the fridge so that it's just making contact with the door handle, and then just align it so that it's square with the front edge. Put those 5 screws back in the top and tighten them up. I hope you found this video helpful. If you have any queries, please get in touch with us anytime. We're always happy to help.